the security risk was examined or assessed or not. The Ministry of Finance on its own raised another objection. They said, is this expenditure that you have been, obviously laptops will not come free, and the members of parliament, secretariat also. So they said, is this a plan or non-plan expenditure? Then they also raised another objection whether the authority, number authority as we call it, UIDI, has asked for the budgetary provision and has it been provided for. Then some others, typical way of thinking. Next please. Some others actually asked this question or raised the objection. Was this particular proposal of giving laptops discussed by the respective consultative committee of the parliament? Was it approved? Was it authorized by the appropriate forum or authority?
Sir, sorry to interrupt you between.
Yes.
There is so the voice is not clear from your side.
But I'm not getting any message about my network, ma'am. Should I switch off my video?
Sir, actually, maybe you are you connected any audio device to it?
No. In fact, I am not using earphones also, as you could see. I'll do one thing. I'll switch off my mobile, which is next to me.
Okay. Sir.
Yes, sir.
That could be probably the only.
Maybe yes, sir.
I'll just switch it off. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Am I okay now?
Yes, sir. Now it is perfect.
Okay, fine. Maybe some messages keep on coming now. It might be disturbing.
That's fine. Yes, sir. Yes.
So I was thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Next, please. So as I was saying, some others, actually raise the typical bureaucratic objection, as you call it, a procedural objection. Was this particular proposal discussed with the consultative committee of the respective ministry? Was it approved or authorized by the appropriate forum or body authorized to take such a decision? And somebody also commented in a very, what should I say, very sly manner. They say, is this a process where he can announce a decision just like that? These, after all, it's government and we are all members of parliament, village and all that kind of thing. Now, obviously, if this is the response, the idea goal was what? Tech savvy, real-time online, digital, my members should be upgraded. Goal was fine. It was looked at from different perspective. Now, if these were the objections raised, either say Ministry of Home Affairs, Finance Ministry, other groups, do I need to tell you what was the outcome? Outcome was, as your list is as good as mine. Outcome was the laptops were not purchased at all, and the proposal was left high and dry. Again, goal one thing, but it was not supported by others. Perhaps they could have benefited. Okay, madam, next we can go to the next one. Next actually. One more, two more actually. Okay. Then there's another what you call typical routine that all of us must have experienced. We must have come across. I'd like to share that with you. And if I may add any similarities, only incidental or accidental. Okay, like they announced in the series, the TV series as we call it. So as it go. Next, please, madam. Next slide, please. Yes. Now I'll read this and then we can continue changing. When I take a long time, I'm slow. Typical, office relationship, the boss and the subordinate, of course. When I take a long time, I'm slow. When my boss takes a long time, he's slow. When I don't do it, I'm lazy. When my boss doesn't do it, he's too busy. When I do something without being told, I'm trying to be smart or over smart. When my boss does the same thing, that is initiative. When I please my boss, I'm apple polishing, vitamin A, vitamin A, Amul as we call it. When my boss pleases his boss, he is cooperating. When I do good, now this is very important. When I do good, my boss never remembers. When I do wrong, my boss never forgets. Now, if this is the kind of situation that you come across, you know that you are certainly not part of a team. Basically, typical, there's a word in Hindi, actually, we have converted to English, known as TTM, tu tera, main mera. As against that, tu tera, main mera is what, it's my own life. Nobody else has any business. I will do it my way, as you call it. But the moment we are talking of a team, friends, team actually, there's a long form of team, quite a few of us may not be aware of it. The long form of the team is that together each achieves more, and that is where the need for team building or the team culture, as we call it today, comes into the vogue, as we call it. So typically, you will find you also must have seen quite a few, what we call various functions, or NIRF ranking. We are all familiar, or NAC. And then whenever NAC ranking is received or NIRF ranking is received, you will normally find that the head of the organization always sends a letter and says, "This is team so and so, which has actually been able to get this for our organization." So it is now team. Even in the industries, a lot of award-winning functions. So if TCS is given an award, but this is not part of the slide, madam. I'm just let it be. Okay. So typically, when TCS receives an award or Infosys, the CEO
Sorry
will
to
receive it.
interrupt you, sir, but again your voice is breaking. There is some problem in your device audio. So, anyway, we are presenting slides from here. Can you switch to your mobile phone for talking? For login. Hello.
As I said, hello, ma'am. What I was saying was not from the side. Your mood. Now this slide is okay. I will, when you say next, you can move
Sir,
to next.
actually problem is your voice is continuously breaking. There is a static in your voice.
No, see, I have switched off both of my cell phones, and I got a fiber line with me, which has been working quite comfortably because I've been conducting sessions practically every day. In fact, the other day, yesterday only, I had the whole day. I had a session for Bharati Vidyapeeth IIT, All India, elocution competition. Whole day it was working absolutely fine. So maybe what do I
Okay,
do?
sir. Okay, sir. Fine. We can continue, sir. No problem.
So, and
We will
ma'am,
just
in
check
case
out
it
with
is,
our system also. Yes, sir.
it can be either way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But
Yeah.
I
No problem. No problem.
yesterday
Please
whole day,
continue.
right from 9:30 till almost 6 o'clock, I was
Mm-hmm.
in touch, and I was a judge also interacting also. So
Okay,
there is
sir.
absolutely no problem. And I've been conducting these sessions practically every day, ma'am. Anyway,
Okay. Okay. No, no
maybe technical
problem, sir.
issue.
No problem. No issue.
So
Please continue, sir.
in case there is problem, do let me know so that if I
Sir,
skip
now when
something.
you interact, there is no issue. When actually the presentation and that discussion start, and after sometimes the voice starts breaking. Now it is
Okay, so
very
the
clear.
moment
Your voice is very clear right now, sir.
maybe then I'll do one thing. I'll speak at a slightly slower pace.
Okay, sir. Fine.
This is okay.
Yeah, yeah, sir. Fine, fine.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
as I was saying, so today, whenever any chief executive or head of an organization receives an award, he doesn't say, it is me. That those days of superstar are gone. He'll always say, I accept this award on behalf of, say, Pune College of Pharmacy or Bharati Vidyapeeth or Pune University or TCS. That is, because today all of us have realized that in today's life, in the work situation, as we call it, we require more knowledge, we require more experiences, we require more judgment. And judgment, not necessarily yours or mine. It could be, as we say, it is not that you are right or I am right. It could be the third side, it could be right. So we talk about judgment. And most importantly, we also use a word now, which is slightly modified version of what we call the cooperation. Today, we call it the co-opetition. And co-opetition, friends, is about the cooperation and competition. So we are competing, but when we compete, normally you talk of undermining or undercutting somebody else. Here, we are talking of complementing kind of thing. And that complementary part or complementary skills is very important part of team building, as we will see. Now, ma'am, now my voice is okay. Am I audible clearly now? So far?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Now, typically, as I was saying, one is the environment part of it, need for judgment, need for experience, need for knowledge part of it. Also, if we look around today, we find that the kind of organization that we are today are typically, we call them interdependent or interdisciplinary, or in academics, we use the word multidisciplinary, as you call it, and multi-skilled. So the moment interdependent means what, I might see this presentation, for example. This presentation would not be possible unless my artist has prepared it. Then it would not have been possible unless my network fiber is working and I'm able to mail it to ma'am. It would not have been possible if ma'am and her technical team is not willing to make fine tuning and adjustment kind of thing. So it's all of us here, and of course it would not have been possible if you as audience are not there. So typically, audience, the speaker, the back end part of it, back end, front end, and all the stakeholders. So it is basically interdependent environment that we are talking about. Then it is interdisciplinary, it might be pharmacy. But olden times, pharmacy was only about pharmaceutical scientific part of it. But today, trust me, even college of pharmacy people, they must think about the placement part of it. And the moment you are talking of placement, you got to have a budget, you got to prepare a budget, approach corporates, train people. So you need something about HR, something about finance, something about marketing. That's the way. In fact, let me just add multidisciplinary part of it. Whenever, today when HR fellow comes to an organization for conducting interviews, one of the first thing that the HR person does, we call it PPT. Now that PPT is not what I'm presenting. That PPT is known as pre-placement talk. And basically what that HR executive does is that he or she actually shares with the audience some details about the company, and the HR executive is actually trying to market their company. So basically, HR, marketing, then obviously salary comes, so the financial part of it comes. Therefore, multi-skilled, interdisciplinary, that is the kind of people, or that's the kind of workforce that we need to have today. And obviously, each one of us cannot be everything, and therefore we need complementarity from others. That's why together each achieves more, the team part of it. Then, as I said, go it alone or superstar, that system is now gone. Even in the movies today, you will not have a single movie by either Amir Khan or your favorite Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan. Even Shah Rukh Khan, although he was superstar at that point of time, he needed a song, and some other artists, with almost 32 artists he required. That's the kind of thing, because today go it alone is outdated. It has to be Sangat Chaddam, Sambandhaj. That, so let us move together part of it. And therefore there's also need that we have to move away from what you say, the I capital to we and ours. That's the important part of it. So that behavioral or attitude change has also become necessary, because you have to move it along. You never know whom you require, and you ultimately you work with and through people. Therefore, there must be not transaction but relationship. And the moment you talk of relationship and bonding, you are moving away from the group or individual to individual kind of working to what we call the team kind of culture. And therefore, also, we need to have more focus on the goal, because like it or not, every organization today has not only have goals or objectives, what you call typical vision, mission. Even your own institute, I'm sure it could be a college, it could be a university, it could be the state. Everybody, business organization, everybody has got what is known as vision and mission, and ultimately you are judged and how good or to what extent have you been able to convert your vision or goals or objectives into ground reality. So the performance orientation has become very, very necessary. And then we do all this, and ultimately there's always what we call, there's a nice book also, by the title that I'm using here, In Search of Excellence. And another word I have added, known as synergy. Synergy is what? Synergy is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is not only 15. Actually, the moment there's a team culture, it changes from 1 plus 2 plus 3 it changes to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So instead of getting 15 as an output, what you are getting actually is 120. That's the kind of synergy that we talk about. And because of this, there's an absolute necessary for us to go for a team culture or to have teams. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. And as you could see, as I said, I mean, each one of us needs a complementarity kind of thing. So none of us, always remember that, none of us is as smart as all of us. And it's a famous quotation by Kenneth Blanchard, who is one of the management guru, as we call them. So I hope you agree that there's a need for a team. Now, before we move further, let us define what a team is all about. Next slide, please. We're talking of definition of team. Next slide. Okay, thank you. Uh, so what is a team? Now, this is the conceptual part, because ultimately partly academics also. So the conceptual part is this. What is a team? Basically, as you could see, a team is a group of people who share common objective. Common means it's not, as they say, TTM, tu tera main mera nahi. I will look after finance, you will look after marketing, you will look after maintenance. No, all of us will work together. So basically, it's a group of people who share common objective, which is common to all across the organization or institution, who share common objective and who are committed to work together. It's not compliance. Compliance is, because the big brother is watching, I do that. Like quite a few of us, we now quite a few places, mask is compulsory, otherwise you are fined. Okay. So because you will be fined, and there's a police immediately, I have seen people putting on the mask. You are not putting on the mask for the police. So, but you do that is compliance. Here, we are talking of commitment, and commitment is something, commitment is where you do something because you want to do it. Commitment is not something where, you do because you are asked. That is a compliance part of it. So, today, when we talk of team, it is about commitment, not compliance. And of course, for what purpose? As I have said, to achieve a predetermined goal. So team is invariably put in place to achieve the goal and deliver performance with synergy. That is the core part of it. Okay. Now, this is another definition. As you could see, what is it about? Basically, a team is a small number of people. This small number could be negotiable, okay? But definition is there, so I'm not tampering with the definition. So a team is a small number of people with complementary skills who are committed to a common purpose. Again, common purpose coming in, okay? Committed to a common purpose, performance goals, what is to be achieved at the end of the day, and approach for which they hold themselves mutually accountable. So, it's not, as I said, undermining, undercutting, or the other side is, it's not about passing on the buck. So, we sing and swim together, and given a choice, I will not like to sing, I will not allow my other colleagues also to sing. Therefore, we'll swim together, we'll achieve the goal, that goal orientation, synergy, commonality of purpose, commitment, and complementary skills is what is important. So, without production, there cannot be marketing. Without marketing, you can't ultimately have sales. But to have sales, you need to have product. So, production, you need somebody to get you the raw materials. To get raw materials, you need money. To convert raw materials into something, you need people. So, it's all raw material, finance, human resources, machinery, product, everything. And ultimately, it comes to the customer via the retailer part of it. So all these are known as stakeholders. And in a team, there are what we call stakeholders, and all of them are actually committed. That's the important part of it. And they have complementary skills. Somebody can produce, but somebody can't market. And somebody will market, but will not be able to produce. That's a bit work. And then, as we proceed, this next please, because we don't have much of time. In fact, if you need detailed presentations, I'll be sharing it to ma'am. She will share with you. Okay. I've got detailed presentation, but because of the time part of it, I'm not going through all of them. So typically, when we talk of, we have defined it. Now let me touch upon, there are two ways of looking at what is known as team forming process. We need team find. Now, how do we go about it? So basically, as you could see, oh, I'm looking, it's looking beautiful, absolutely clean side, madam. Thank you. Basically, when we talk of team forming, teams don't happen overnight. You have to make them form. I believe you must have seen that Amir Khan's movie, where actually what happens, they come together. None of them knows what is cricket, but they come together. Ultimately, the win. That they go through this typical forming process of forming stages. So conceptually, the typical stages are what we call forming. First, we come then storming. Storming, I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. A lot of brainwashing, brainstorming happens. So forming, then we have what is known as storming. Then norming. Norming is, you work out norm that this particular thing will be done. If you ask your pulse rate, if it is 72 and your blood pressure is 120/80, then we say, okay, this fellow is normal. Normal means you added to the norm. That norm is the rule, agreed rules as you call it. So norming. Then performing, obviously. Performing, start delivering it. Then conforming, you have the rules, you do in a particular manner, you start getting the result, you continue to follow. And then maybe, if you are Japanese, you can go for Kaizen, continuous improvement as you call it. So performing, conforming, and once you start conforming, we are, as you said, in a dynamic environment. So if you don't change, you can become obsolete. So we change and we develop. And development is something where we are better today than what we were yesterday. It's as simple as this. So, what are the typical team forming processes? First, forming, then storming, then norming, then you have performing, then you have conforming. It gets settled down kind of thing, becomes routine kind of thing. And the moment you get routinized, chances are you might become complacent. So change, challenging, so changing, and then developing. Development is better. So you develop a product, right? You develop a syllabus. You don't work out a syllabus. You develop a syllabus. That means what was not there, you bring in something new and better kind of thing. So forming, storming, norming, performing. Then of course conforming, changing, and developing. Then there's another way of looking at the way people behave in a team or team forming behaviors as you call it. Like please, ma'am. Yes, thank you. Typically, we talk of listening, then we refer to questioning, then we talk of persuading, then we talk of respecting, we talk of helping or assisting, we talk of sharing, and then we talk of participating. Listening, there's a difference between hearing and listening. Listening is where we understand the meaning of what is being said and we actually internalize it. Okay, you must have had the New Year party, maybe on limited scale. But I remember, as a friends till last year, whenever they will party, typical Cosmo culture that we have, we say, hey, to see great ho. To see great ho means, the translation is, Arey, aap to mahan ho. Now, actually, when you say that, you don't really mean you are mahan. You mean something else. But you will feel that you are mahan, provided you are hearing and not listening. So listening is listening between the words. Words means what is the meaning part of it, not what is said, but what is meant by it. So listening is one of the important things in team formation or teamwork. Then questioning. Questioning is, basically you don't accept as a follower. You before accepting, you like to know why. And what you become follower, why become inquisitive, and then you can move to leadership kind of thing. So listening, then questioning. The questioning is not about, let us be very clear, it is not like a police interrogation. If you have doubts, you will get clarified. If you have any gray areas, you will get those clarified. So questioning. Then persuade, yes, this is the way it is to be done. Typically what we say is make the other person appreciate what you say, then make the other person accept what you say, and then make the other person act upon what you say the way you want it. So listening, then you got questioning, then you got persuading, then of course you are respecting. That respect is probably one of the most important part of it. Like in certain organizations, the juniors are always addressed or commanded by their rank or their number. Like in Maharashtra, we had this culture, the police people used to have a buckle number. So, your name might be XYZ, you always refer to as buckle number service. And the moment you are buckle number, it shows that you are not respected as a human being. Here, we respect as a team member. As we said, you may not be right, I may not be right, third person may not be right, but whatever we say, there must be some. So that kind of respect for each other is absolute necessary for a team to be a real synergistic team, as you call it. So respecting, regarding each other, then you have what is known as helping, contribute, that's where complementary comes. So complementary, then helping, then sharing whatever you have. And when you start sharing, today you will find, because of the kind of culture that we have, it has become necessary for the kids to be taught about sharing. Because, you got your own bedroom, you got your own TV, you got your own phone, and everything becomes mine. That my capital, as you call it. Olden time for us, I remember, I'm not kidding or complaining, but for our generation, it was always ours. And it was only natural that all of us will share it. In team, you don't try to monopolize, you don't try to corner. Whatever resources are there, whatever credit is there, either way, it will be shared. And then, of course, everybody, because you are respected, because you are listening, you are listened to, you feel you are part of it. You own it up, kind of thing. That ownership, sense of belonging happens, and then you start participating actively, which ultimately leads to better performance, better contribution, and of course, as an organization, we end up with much better performance than otherwise we would be. So, as I said earlier, we mentioned something like forming, storming, norming, performing, conforming, changing, and developing. And now we talked about listening, questioning, persuading, then respecting, helping, sharing, and participating. So these are typical steps which are or thought processes which are considered or which are taken into account and implemented by forming a team. Now, before I move further, next slide please, ma'am. Can I move to the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so we have talked of the various stages and the behaviors. So when we actually want to develop the team, how do we go about it? First and most important, the goal is important. So goal. So what is important is when we are developing a team or when we are building a team, then this is slightly, we have moved slightly ahead. There are two slides in between before this. Okay, TK, no issues. Let it be. I'll come to this. Let the slide be on. So typically when we build team, first and foremost, we create awareness about the task, what is to achieve, how it is to be done, who will do it. That's the important part of it. But let the slide be there. Let it be. Then you also have to have, what we call the achievement motivation. I have to achieve, come what may. Where there's a will, there's a way. We shall overcome. Remember that favorite Martin Luther King song? We shall, I don't know when, but we shall overcome someday or one day. So that achievement motivation part of it. Then facilitate problem solving, because there will always be problems that you can't say. Because there are problems, you have to get a solution to that. Then there will be clarity of who will do what, when, how, and why. And it is important, that as I said, no TTMM, no compartmentalization, no undermining, no undercutting. And you must establish what we call collaboration. I remember I used a word known as cooperation. Cooperation is basically cooperation plus competition. Okay. Then discuss difficulties, failures, and appreciate bona fides. There could be like Corona, for example. You will find last year, this year particularly, we are finding that quite a few of our corporate clients, they are not really doing well. And all of us, we are not filing people left and right because we know that Corona is there. So they are impacted by it. So that's bona fide that the performance, cars are not being sold as much, TVs are not being sold as much. Happens, it is not fault of the production, it is not fault of the salesperson, but the market. So bona fide is to be appreciated. Then we develop recognition, respect, as I said earlier. Then empathy is very important. Empathy, you are able to feel the same way that other person. Empathy is different from sympathy. Please understand this. We need to empathize, and then communication must be absolutely open. And these all, we call, as you could see on the slide, That is what we call the octopus culture. Octopus actually, that octopus word has been coined based on the first letter kind of thing. So O for what? O for, as I mentioned, openness or open communication. Then C for confidence and cooperation plus competition. So you become competitive, if it is 10 yesterday, it can be 11 today. If it is 12 yesterday, it could be 13 today. That's what we talk about. So confidence and cooperation. Then what you have is, T is known for task orientation and trust. As I said, among the team members, trust is absolutely must. Okay. Then acceptance, A for acceptance, agreement, and achievement motivation. We are talking of octopation. These are the long form, what we basically need for team building is this. Then we have patience, most important. So patience, and of course, results are important. So performance and problem solving. Then we have adjustment, fine tuning. It cannot be what you call hard and fast kind of thing. So adjustments. Then appreciation is a must, absolute must. Recognition, respect, appreciation, rewards, respect, and then also what is important is appropriate leadership. The team members might be good, and we have seen n number of instances across the. It could be academic, it could be corporate, it could be Indian cricket team also. You will always find, that if the leadership is appropriate situation, like, Winston Churchill, he was brought back specially to be prime minister because during the Second World War, they realized that Chamberlain was not the kind of stuff of a prime minister who will be able to fight it out. So he was brought in, and rest, of course, is history. Again, when I say appropriate, the same British people who welcomed him during the war, Second World War I'm talking about, the same British people did not allow Churchill to become prime minister after the war was over, because after the war situation was different. During the war situation similarly. For team also, you need to have appropriate leadership. Maybe in some other session you must have about leadership. There we refer to something known as situational leadership, as we call it. Okay, so situational leadership or appropriate leadership, which which will understand, see through, and come out with the solution that works. Inspire the team, not make them perspire, as we call it. So appropriate leadership is one thing. Then, of course, we need to have what is known as, at times, we got to confront the issues, and we need to counsel the members also. And last but not the least, we need to evaluate critical assessment of what is being done, evaluate or examine. Then we must have empathy. Basically, empathy is, sahanubbhuti, it's not sympathy. Please appreciate this. So if you can develop this kind of what is an octopus culture in an organization, trust me, you actually can feel the difference. And anybody who comes to your organization, or if you go to such an organization where they got the octopus culture, you will feel the difference. And these are the organizations which are ultimately coming out as the winners kind of thing. Just think of it, today, for example, this company like Godrej Group, you must have heard. Okay, olden time, what happens if I'm working with Godrej, then I will say I'm an employee of Godrej. So then that is particularly a transaction. Then they pay me salary, they are giving me a point also. I'm an employee. There's no sense of ownership or commitment. Today you'll find, most of the companies, they don't call their, I mean, people working with you employees. They're employees technically, yes, but like L&T, they call it L&T. Godrej, they call it Godrejites. Infosys, they call it Infosys, as if you are part of great legacy. And that gives you a tremendous sense of commitment, tremendous sense of belongingness, and then you find that the performance of these industries is always better. You can actually feel it. You talk to Google. I mean, anybody working with a company known as Google, they work beautifully as a team, and they have a fantastic motivational kind of atmosphere also. You got to go there and see. If you get a chance to go to US and go to, we call it modern Chalam Yatra. Google, you got Apple, you got Facebook, you got LinkedIn. All these Apple and LinkedIn and Yahoo, Google, they are practically on the same main road. You will see them across main as you travel. So typically, the octopus culture is something which is absolute must for a team. Now, as I said, if you go through that typical performance, norming, or listening to participating, you will realize, when you build a team, how do you know that you are a good team? Basically, you will find octopus culture is one part of it. You will actually realize, there are certain features which you can feel, कहते हैं महसूस होता है. You can actually feel it. What is that? You will find that these teams have what is known as mutual trust. Go to the next slide, please. Can I move to the next slide? Okay, fine. I am continuing. So you will find that there's a mutual trust. People don't think I'll come to this. Let it be there. There's a mutual trust. Then even if there are differences, they are sorted out in an absolutely human kind of thing. Then you got complementary skills. Let it be. Thank you. Then, as I said, there's appropriate leadership also. And then, before I move on to motivation, so what we have done, we have defined team. We have gone through what are the process involved. Then we have talked about what are the features or characteristics of a good team. Now, just to highlight how the member of an individual member is very important in team. This is something actually I have just changed the word which was given to us when I was in the state bank. So this was given in one of our training, and that time computers were not there, so it was typewriter. But because today we are all about computers, I have changed the word from typewriter to computer. But original word was computer. And this is our key board, as we call it. And just look at it, which will actually enable you to appreciate and highlight what is required for a team and how the member of an individual, the role of an individual member is absolutely critical for the success of a team. So everybody matters. Therefore, together each achieves more. Just look at it, look at the slide, and I'm just reading it. Then I'll go to motivation part of it. Okay. Am I audible now? Is my voice cracking a singer? Okay, ma'am. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Sir,
yeah, because there is still some voice breaking. That is the issue.
Oh, I think we have to withstand. Patience, as we said. Okay.
Yes.
So now, as I said, just to highlight the role of an individual member in a team, because as you said, team is what? Together, each achieves more. Just look at it. My boss told me that teamwork depends. You should have to read it. You will find what is this type of error. That's why I have highlighted. It's not a typographical error. You will come to know what it is about. Okay. So my boss told me that teamwork depends, just look at it, on the performance of every single person on the team. I ignored that idea until he showed me how the office typewriter performs when just one single key is out of order. All the other keys on our typewriter work fine except one. But, next please. But that one key, next slide please. But that one key destroys the effectiveness of the typewriter. Now I know that even though I am only one person, I am needed if the team is to work as a successful team should. So, friend, what is important is team, it's not an excuse to pass on the buck to somebody else. There will always be some, what we call smart Alex. But these kind of people need to be identified and, if necessary, isolated and kicked out of that particular team. Sometimes you have to take that kind of ruthless decision. Now, you might be wondering, I'm mentioning about industry, I'm talking of Infosys, I'm talking of Godrej, I'm talking of L&T. How is it relevant with the academic part of it? So before I move to motivation, let me add, even in academics, this is very, very important, team building or team culture. Why so? Because we also have different players, and just look at it and giving you illustrative, just some entities I'm mentioning. Just consider them and see how we can bring them as part of the team. So what are those? I start right from government, NEP for example. Government of India started. Now, if the goals of Government of India, NEP 2020 are to be achieved, and our students are really to benefit, and the whole, culture is changed, it has to be implemented right up to the grassroots. So, Government of India, then state government, then you got UGC, then you got AICTE, then you got respective university. It could be your own university where you are. Then it could be board of studies. Then you come down to the RB Institute, individual institute management. Then you got what is known as teaching, non-teaching. You got governing councils also. Then you got various support services either in the university or in the college, like you got accounts, you got library, you got IT, which is very big thing now, maintenance part of it. And of course, we also have the corporate employers. Ultimately, our students should be employment ready. And who will give the employment? The industry, so corporate employers. And of course, last but not the least, students and parents. Now, if all these entities, right from the government to students, they act as a part of the team of the ring. Trust me, our whole education system can be overall, and it will be totally different kind of thing. And then we will not be looking at only saying, "Hey, we are not part of the top 100 QS ranking, or we are nowhere among the top." That will happen provided we start working as a team. Because the moment you're team, you raise the bar, you are motivated, and you start moving toward better and higher. As you said, you start moving forward and you start moving upward. So team culture and of course motivation, they are very closely related. And more so, the moment you're working as a team, it will give you a synergy, and it will also enable you to attain excellence, as you call it. So with this, now I would like to move over to the motivation part of it. Ma'am, can I move to motivation next, please? Ma'am, can you move further? Hello? Yes, thank you. Now, as we know, all of us, I mean, everybody of us is, we always work. And as I said earlier, we work with and through people. That is where that, sense of belonging, sense of identity, and that team culture is useful. But then what happens, there are always, as I said, people who think they are smarter than others. So the people are complex actually, and they are also uniquely different. Everybody, I mean, each one of us is different. We are not. I mean, Ram or Sham is okay, Sita or Gita, but in real life, each one of us is an individual, separate entity. So then what happens is, obviously, what somebody wants to do or others will not, or what motivates one, other may not be motivated by. So somebody might be saying, I like to study, somebody else, study से क्या फर्क पड़ता है ना? So typically there are two ways of looking. Somebody says, no, I want to be the richest person. He said, no, do you know the richest country in the world has got the highest amount of rate of committing suicide? I mean, there are ways of doing different things, right? So what motivates one actually may not be motivating others. And then obviously, the question that arises, next please, next slide please. Then obviously the question, that comes to our mind, or that comes naturally to us actually is, why do we do certain things? Like, olden times, I don't know how the situation is now, but olden times, I can share that with you. A lot of people, the Pune University used to organize a long duration, what is known as faculty training program. Every week, there are different names. And, I found that quite a few people used to come there. What was the motive? I mean, training program for teachers, obviously skill. They said, sir, we are coming here because, unless we have 3 programs of this kind attended, our papers will not be processed for the pension part of it. So what was the motivation? Motivation was not learning part of it. Motivation was not value addition part of it. Motivation was, I should qualify for the, I mean, it varies from person. When there were some people who said, sir, actually, I have completed, but I want to learn because that is what will keep me updated, because we get quite a good inputs kind of thing. A lot of new inputs are coming in, so I like to do that. That's how we plan. So typically, the question that we should ask is, why do we do certain things? For example, why do parents enroll their kids for typically, everybody wants to be engineer and doctor, so G or NEET coaching. Why do people exercise regularly? Just a few days back, I got a clip about Mr. Talwalkar, who the pioneer of setting up Talwalkar gyms. He is now 84, and at the age of 84, he was actually showing some exercises where he is actually weightlifting. Just you don't try that without training, but then 84, now he said, I do it because I like to be fit. So that his motivation for exercising is to be fit. And even at 84, if you look at the way he was showing the demonstration, oh my God, OMG as you call it. So staying fit is part of it. Some people go for diet, or as you call it, why do some people exercise regularly, or what you call, currently is very favorite, by the way, Dr. Dixit or Rujita Divekar diet, as you call it, or currently, because of COVID, why do some people put on mask and some don't? Some people are in a so again, you find even these small kind of things, these are different things. So typically what we do is, why we want to be among academics, again we are talking about. So let it be, madam, let it be. I don't mean to this. I'm just adding something offhand. So like today we find every year you get a ranking. This could be India Today magazine, Business India magazine, a lot of magazines in India. So why is it that I want to be among the top 50 or top 10 institutes? Like even for India, the present government wants that India should be among the top 50 nations in terms of what is known as ease of doing business. So more investment will come, more investment will come. What is the motivation? Not to bring foreigners, more investment, more jobs, more employment, more people will create with. So economic development. That's the motive kind of thing. Fine. So why do I want to be among the top 50 or top 10? Why do I go for NAC or NBA or NIRF ranking? I've been there, I've been there for the last 50 years. NIRF was not there, NAC was not there, but we are there, students are coming, but people are going. What is the motivation? Then we say, we are A plus for the last three occasions. Again, part of E grade. That's how it works. Fine. So, what do you want? Again, professional colleges particularly, and because I am still more with the management kind of thing. So, why do you want the best placement with higher what do you call CTC? Basically, salary every year. Then why do you go to any management institute? You can just go to IMD. You also find the entry itself. You will find our recruiters and Amazon and IBM and all blue chip companies as you call it. So typically these things we are doing. Why are we doing? We are doing those things because we need to be motivated kind of thing. Therefore, we must understand the concept of motivation to enable us to accomplish high standards of work performance. Please understand, we are not talking here only conceptually. It has to be reflected in our work. Like, if I write a research paper, you have something like, you get points. So what is the point that I'm getting? So I know, then I say, okay, I will, I have published in Indian magazines. I would like my research paper or research article to be published in so and so, which is supposed to be one of the best in that particular line of activity. So that is basically because I want to show that, look, this is what I have, and that is my goal, or that is my motivation part of it. So we must understand that motivation. Why? Because it enables me to achieve or accomplish high standards of work performance individually and organized. Both, please remember that. Me as a person also, and ultimately because I'm working with an organization, and if there we are working as a team, and all the people start working beautifully with synergy, ultimately your organization also is bound to do much better than what it has been. So we are talking about motivation and team building, and of course, part of that is this whole, FDP, ATAL FDP is about leadership and excellence kind of thing. Now, madam, next please. Okay, so typically, when we talk of motivation, there are three what is known as constituents, or I would call them three components. What are those three components? Basically, it's about needs, then drives, and goals. Again, why do I want to do it? Why do I need a job? I need a job because I don't have as much money as I want to find. So Then what I do, I appear for competitive exams, I study well, I check up, I go for coaching. So basically there are needs that needs to be fulfilled. Then there are drives, I want to study because, my village, so and so is there. Now I want to be the first IS or the first scientist or the first professor or the first master's degree holder from my village. That's how it works. Like, so drive and of course goal. Goal is what I want to objective, and goals, let me tell you, goals is a must because the goal itself acts as a driver. Because I want to achieve something, I start studying. Because I want to do something, that's it. Can be entrepreneur, it can be the best of teacher, it can be research, it can be businessman, whatever it is. Like, with very simple thing, Tata Motors, they went into trucks, they were doing fine. But then, Mr. Ratan Tata comes and says that, look, I want Tata Motors to be the only automobile company in this part of the world present in every automobile segment. Means what? You look at Maruti, only cars. Okay. You look at Ashok Leyland, only trucks. Now it will mini truck. But if you look at Tata Motors, you will find they got small cars, they got Jaguars, they got Rovers, they got LCV, they got the Chotadi one tonner, and they got multi tonner. So that motivation is what I want to be the only company in this part of the world present in every automobile segment. Not only cars, not only trucks, SUV also, light commercial vehicles also, extremely one tonner also. So that's needs, drives, and goals. This is what basically constitutes what we call the motivation. And of course, as I said, before we move, I just like to quickly touch upon a couple of definitions of motivation. Next, please, madam. Next, please. Yeah, thank you. So motivation is what? Again, it comes from within, as you know. So motivation is an inner state and a driving force. Driving force, like remember Dr. Abdul Kalam. I mean, he great person. He always think, totally different manner. See, for most of us, there are quite a few of us, and they trust me. There are quite a few of us that have come across who say, "Sir, I should get a dream, early morning." I said, "Why early morning?" Because the superstition is that if you get a dream early morning, then those dreams come true. What Dr. Abdul Kalam said, I mean, just look at the motivation and magnanimity of that person. What he said, he says, dream is not something that you get in sleep. And I quote, dream is not something that you get in sleep. Dream is something that doesn't allow you to sleep. That means till the time my goal is achieved, like what Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is. That's a driving goal. I will do it because I want to do it. So, motivation is an inner state and driving force that energizes, activates, and moves people and directs, channelizes behavior. See, the same student, who would not even bother to look at the Google or the class notes, the moment exam comes, typically the word that is used, borrowed from engineering actually, we call it night tomorrow. Night tomorrow means what? A week before, that fellow is totally changed. What is the motivation? Array, I have to get through this. That's a big first. Or if you look at some of the people who are applying for the competitive exams, entrance exams, or UPSC, MPSC exam, just look at the way they are studying. Because of what? Because that's the sole driver. Array, I must know. This is how it works. So direct and channel behavior towards what? Towards achievement and accomplishment of goals. So please do remember, we are not talking about team or motivation just for the sake of it. We are looking at team and motivation because both of them are actually instrumental in enabling people and organizations to achieve or accomplish the goals. And trust me, goals or objectives without actually being attained are of no use. Trash, throw them in the bin, as we call it. So I repeat, motivation is an inner state and driving force that energizes, activates, and moves people and directs, channelizes behavior towards achievement, accomplishment of goals. Accomplishment, not only goals. Goals people can have. In fact, as you said, this year there was classic. I got something. I got a message on WhatsApp. He said, "Sir, actually, I was thinking, of uh, starting a new year with morning walk." And then I said, "Great, all the best." Then next day he sent me another message, "Sir, I was thinking about it, but now, what do I do? Because the government has imposed a ban that there's a curfew from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. So now the new year till 5th of January, I will not be able to." The 5th of January gone, New Year gone, so I maybe put it for. This is no motivation. This is no goal. I don't want goal for the sake of it. I want the goal to be accomplished and converted on ground reality. Both. Please remember, team and motivation are important because they facilitate the attainment of the goals. Only goals or only objectives are of no use. Goals and objectives are a must, but their attainment and accomplishment is equally important. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, I mean, these are just quickly I just go through. Motivation is when one needs no outside stimulation, or it's a thought process, and then okay, let it be there. Now, I will not go into all these theories. Don't worry. I will be touching upon only 2 theories. But when we talk of motivation, there are a lot of what I call theories like the theory X and theory Y. Some people like to work, some people will not like to work. So no, they will have to be kicked, they will have to be thrown around, they will be forced and threatened and whatnot. There is Maslow's theory, there is Herbert's theory, there is McLean's theory. Then of course, typical management science, we talk about motivation, expectancy, equity, and we also got Porter law. I will not go into all of this. I would like to focus upon two, basically the core part of 2 theories, which I believe are more relevant to our discussions today. And considering the time, I will focus on those 2 theories. Basically, I will be touching upon Maslow's theory and McLean's theory. Okay. So I'm going to touch upon, I will not discuss, I'll touch upon only 2 theories. Okay. Next, please, madam, Maslow's theory. Yeah. Yes. So as I said, if you look at Maslow's theory, you find that first is typically we call it physiological, roti, basic survival needs, roti, kapda, makan. I need that, okay. But once I need that, then what I need is safety. Like I need a job, okay. Now, once I get a job, I remember that in the job offer later, there is a clause that you will be on probation for say 1 year, and during the probation, either side can give 1 month notice. No, I don't. I know that I'm not going to give that notice, but I also don't want to get that 1 month notice and terminate it. So once I get that confirmation, so I need that confirmation letter, that is known as safety. Now once that safety needs are fulfilled, then I move to higher level, which are known as what is known as social or respect needs, as you call respect. Basically, social. ये बैंक में काम कर रहा है ना, ये government में NPC में आ गया, that kind of thing. So social requirement, then esteem. You believe that you deserve to have to be at a particular position, kind of thing. So esteem is respect, and then ultimately self-actualization. You are actually able to achieve or realize your whole potential. And then if you look at this hierarchy, we call it, this is known as Maslow need hierarchy. Okay, motivation. Basically, we start with the physical roti kapda makan, then we move to safety, then we move to social need, then we do esteem, and then self-actualization. Whatever I'm capable of, I have done it. Okay, so like Dhirubhai, there could be different ways of looking at it, but I'm looking from he had this goal that one day, he was working as a petrol pump boy in one of the pumps in Eden. Petrol pump, he was delivering petrol to the client's vehicles. Okay, but that point of time, what was his goal? His goal was that one day I will set up a petroleum refinery. Then just and then he did it in Damnagar. Reliance has got refinery. Then what is the motivation? Motivation. Okay, first trading. Okay, trading. Then manufacturing. Then back end. Then NASA. Then 1, 2, 3, and ultimately refinery. So please remember, motivation. You always start small, but once it is achieved, don't get stuck up with the complacency. Start moving to the higher levels, and it normally happens. So this is one hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy, and then another one I like to touch upon more because I feel that more relevant to us. Can I move to the next one, please? Which is known as the McLean theory. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So this has been given, by David McLelland. He has done a lot of work in India, particularly in agriculturally dominant states like Punjab and Andhra Pradesh, that part of Andhra. Today, Andhra and Telangana, there are 2 states, okay, but Andhra. And then, I mean, these are one of the samples that he discussed, studied among them. Then he came, his theory, he said that everybody's motivation behavior is decided by what he said. But there are 3 types of requirements. Like Maslow had said, social, psychological, physiological safety. He said there are three: one is power, then second is affiliation, and third he said achievement. That's the most important part from our motivation point of view. Okay. So next, please. What do you mean by power needs? Basically, when you can move further with this illustration. You can go to the next slide, ma'am. Next, please. So there is need for power. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So what he said was, the power need. One is power. Second is affiliation. Third one is achievement. Motivation. Achievement, motivation. Achievement need convert to motivation. So power need is what? Power need is basically your ability to or desire to influence, control, and hold and exercise. Like example, if whenever I enter any premises, people should salute me. Could be. So I will like to have a rank here. There, everybody, whenever I go, you will escort me. They will say hi, sir, good morning, sir, and all that kind of thing. That's power need. Influence, control, and hold and exercise authority. That is power, motivation, and power need. Then he said, some people have affiliation kind of thing. Establishing congenial, what do you call it, collegial kind of thing. You should make people feel very comfortable. They are highly people oriented, but they are not very task or result oriented kind of thing. But they are very popular because they will not fire, they will not ask any odd or tough questions. They will tolerate kind of thing. They will they'll be what do you call, they'll be very considerate, compassionate, blah blah. So affiliation need is where you establish congenial, friendly relations, and you will also like to have very warm relations across. I don't want any tension. I don't want any tussle. These are the two uh, types of motivations, as you call it. The third one is very important for us because that is what leads us to what is known as the achievement part of it. Could we go to the next one, please? Next slide, please. Next, the motivation that comes is about what is an achievement. Achievement in achievement, as you call it, achievement motivation. That is about what? That is basically about what? So basically, when we talk of achievement need or achievement motivation, which is part of McLean theory, okay, it talks about what? It talks about solving challenges. In team building, we talk about problem solving, right? It talks of solving challenges. It doesn't talk of only goals. It talks of accomplishing the task, completing the goals, and obviously realizing the task. It also, talks about gaining mastery. And like we said, now with the Coca-Cola, I mean, whenever you think of Dove, if you want to soap, if you want to ultimate in car, Mercedes. If you want ultimate in watch, Rolex or Omega. That, or if you want the best of phone, iPhone. That's that's the kind of Apple. Always just think of it. Steve Jobs. His basic philosophy was, he said, look, I don't want just any product. I want a product that is better and different. Mastery, superb, So gaining mastery and working more effectively and efficiently and delivering best possible performance. Again, there's no compromise. There's a tremendous urge, as we call it. And ultimately, he also talks about, he said, achieving motivation gives you about basically it's an urge to complete. Look at this, urge. Yeah, but next slide. Fine, go to the next one. No issues. Yeah. So achievement need or achievement motivation ultimately boils down to is an urge to compete, is an urge to complete, and an urge to excel. Complete means what? Array. There are 700 plus universities in India. So how can my university is hardly 30 years old? How can I be competing with 100 pieces? So what? Why not? Let me show that I can also be part of it. That's how it works. So it's an urge to compete. And please remember, I am not use the word desire. There's a difference between desire and urge. I mean, if I may, give you something, take it. I'm mentioning lightly, but take it seriously. Okay. There are two words. One is known as pyar. Second is known as junoon. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. Some of you might have experienced also. That's a different story. So there's something known as pyar. There's something known as junoon. But please remember, there's a difference between desire and urge. Desire is like a pyar. Pyar ho jata hai. Junoon sawar ho jata hai. Please try to understand this. And therefore, it is not that I would like to. It's not I would. I must. Like what Lokman Tilak has said. स्वराज्य माझा जन्मसिद्ध हक्क आणि तो मी मिळवणारच. He didn't pray to the British boss, I want independence, can you please give it to me? No way, I want it, I will get it. So an urge to compete, and then urge to complete. You will not say, will not leave it halfway. As that beautiful song from one of the movies goes, I think, Dil Chahta Hai. क्यों ऐसी उम्मीद की मैंने जो ऐसे नाकाम हुई, दूर बनाई थी मंजिल पर रास्ते में ही शाम हुई. That is not acceptable as per achievement motivation. Let us be very clear. If I want to be there, I will be there. So urge to compete, urge to complete, and most important part, friends, is it is an urge to excel. Excel means whatever I do, that will become the benchmark. That will be the footprint. That will landmark. See, if you look at there's something like good, better, and best, right? So if there's good, something can be better, something can be better. But have you ever heard excellent, excellent, or excellentest? Excel is Excel, ability, a unique kind of thing. So achievement motivation basically is all about an urge to compete, an urge to complete, and an urge to excel. Next, please, ma'am. Next one. Now, if next, please. Thank you. Now, typically, if you or your organization is motivated, we can, actually feel what is known as some indicators. Basically, what happens is, you will have, you just check up. Our motivation can be cross-checked, basically. Do we have commitment? Again, I'm not in compliance. I come to, why do I come to 10 o'clock? No, I've seen, quite a few people in certain places, before 5 to 10, they are, moving like mad, because what is important is, they must have their what do you call biometric enter before 10 o'clock. If not, late mark aa jayega. So it's not question of going, it's question of late mark. So it's not commitment, it's compliance. So do you have commitment to work? Then is there collaboration with others? Is there trust among people? Is there loyalty to colleagues, or is it undermining, undercutting, backbiting, as you call it? Is are you into avoiding office politics or playing office politics? Do you volunteer new ideas? You don't wait. पूछेंगे तो बताएंगे. If you feel something that yes, this can be done, that is where the motivation comes in. And then of course, taking initiative. Initiative is something that you do on your own. But again, as I said, if I take initiative, my boss feels I'm too smart. If he does on his own, he has initiative, then things could be different. And therefore, team building and motivation would move hand in hand, as you call it. Okay, next please. Next please. Next slide. So this is how it works. We start with motivation, then it enables us for performance, then you get outcomes, and then you have satisfaction or delight. That is what happens. You are not just meeting expectations, but we talk about what is known as exceeding expectations. So typically, motivation will lead to performance, as you could see. Your performance will lead to outcome, results, and outcome will lead to the satisfaction or delight of the stakeholders. So this is what happens because of motivation. And I don't think there's anything great than having the satisfaction of delight of having done, having planned, and having achieved it successfully. That's what matters. Next, please. Okay. Yeah, just touch upon it. Next. We can go. Next one. I've touched upon this, madam. I just covered. Yes. Next. One more. Yes. So then why should we have motivation? Basically, as you could see, because this commitment, I want to just think of it as a school child. Go back and then you just think, as a school child, you are reluctant to bunk the school. When you go to college, that's a different. In fact, there are some so smart people. They know if the attendance is 75%, they keep a track of it. And then the moment is 75%, they do everything. Okay. So it basically is not compliance, it is commitment. So it helps bring people to work regularly and on time. Okay. Then it helps people give their best for the organization. This commitment comes, and therefore you are able to give the best. Then it helps organization achieve the goals and move to higher and more competitive levels of performance and prosperity. That's the important part of it. It's not just it's the moment you keep on achieving, obviously you are going to be better off financially as well. Then it also enables a person to grow and develop and emerge as a more mature person or a more mature organization, as you call it. Then it also helps you to achieve and sustain better quality of life and move, as I said, move forward and upward. Forward means, that upward is not upper case. Upward means, you are, say, for example, financially speaking, you are into LIG, lower income group, you move to MIG, middle income. From MIG, you move to HIG, higher income group. Higher income, you move to the rich and, what you call high net worth individual. That is moving forward and moving upward. And then we say, so and so has come far from his, mundane background, as they call it. So typically, it enables you to grow. It enables you to move both forward and upward, and this is applicable to both individual as well as organization. And then, of course, it also enables you to improve skills and knowledge. Quite a few people, I'm sure, quite a few of you also must have, obtained some certifications during that, this year COVID. Quite a few institutes and universities across the world actually had offered, what you call online free certifications also. A lot of people I know, they have gone for it. Even I have gone for some of those certifications. Okay, maybe, although I'm 68, there's nothing, age is only a bar, right? So typically, you go for it because, it is happening. Why not? So, Google is giving certification for you to be a coach. Why not go for it? Because you are not doing anything online, now it is online, so why not go for it? That's how it works, right? Fine. So, it helps people to get started. Next, please. Skills and knowledge, of course, next, please. Next slide. Then, motivation also helps you to get started and keep moving. You basically, one thing I like about being motivated is that you are never stagnant. Stagnant is, I don't know whether you read it, some of those supermarket shops, kirana store, there's, what they call so-called Gita Sar, what is that about? It says, जो हो गया वो अच्छा था, जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा है, जो होगा वो अच्छा होगा. So please understand, Gita, Bhagavad Gita is not about this. It's basically about karma yoga. It's not about studying, but here, therefore, the moment you are motivated, you will not say, जो हो गया वो अच्छा था, जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा है, जो होगा वो भी अच्छा होगा. Then, you are giving up. So that is not done. So you get started, you keep moving, and you do more, you raise the bar, as you call it, and you do more than necessary. Typically, in corporate language, we categorize these people, or we identify these people as, these are the people who are not only meeting expectations, but they are exceeding expectations. Meeting means what? 75% attendance, 75% attendance. Done. On time, on time. Only, 10% late arrival, 10% late arrival. Here, 100% attendance, 100% time, 100% productivity, no defect. That's a big work life. Fine. So typically, basically, motivation will help people to get started, keep moving, and do more than necessary. Not just meet, but exceed expectation. And as I said, it will also provide you the urge and the drive to excel and makes the journey a real fun. The moment you start enjoying what you're doing, I think, that's a kind of proof that you are actually highly motivated person. So always think of not only to raise the bar, and don't think only of meeting, but exceeding expectations. So individually also, as well as organizational point of view also, motivation is very, very important. More specifically, next please. More specifically, can I have the next slide, please? I would, also like to look at from organization. Whatever I said earlier is applicable both individuals, but more specifically from organizational point of view. Like, I am a college, I am there. Now I would like to have students. I would like to have my staff PhD. Now, PhD is like pharmacy college, for example, or somebody doing something in chemistry. Can I have something like patents? Can I have IPRs? That's the kind of thing. So I'm raising the bar. So typically, please remember, from the organizational perspective, today, it's increasingly competitive and it is global. It is not local. Okay. So today we talk of not only NIRF, but the moment we get NIRF, we say, okay, where do we stand in terms of the QA standards, as we call it. So because we know what is happening not only in mind, so benchmarks are changing. Earlier they were local, today they are global kind of thing. So from organization point of view, and because it is also related with the focus of this particular FDP, today's increasingly competitive business environment means a highly team-oriented and motivated workforce is absolutely vital for any organization, because then only you can start moving in search of excellence. I mentioned excellence earlier. I'm mentioning excellence now and then. Obviously, some of you might wonder, sir, what do you mean by excellence? So before we close the session, there are still 8 minutes left. Basically, let me tell you, as I just said, as this FDP is about leadership and excellence. Leadership, I'm sure you might have been given that definition. If it is not, I'm sharing that with you. What we always say is leaders don't do different things; they do it differently. And secondly, we also say that leaders are those who can get extraordinary work done from ordinary people. So leadership matters, okay? Then we also talk of excellence. And I mentioned earlier, in the last slide, I mentioned something in search of excellence in bold. In search of excellence is actually the name of a book. Again, it actually studies a lot of corporate organizations, and then it studies, how they have been able to tide over various crises and still be winner even in today's times. So typically, when you talk of excellence, and I'm quoting this definition from that particular book. So what excellence is, that it's a state of long-term, sustained, comprehensive success. Long-term means it's not only here and now. अरे ये साल रिजल्ट 100% आ गया, अगले साल मालूम नहीं का. That is not so. If you are 100, then every year, right from year of establishment, last 25 years, 30 years, my result has always been 100% plus. My placement has always been 100% plus. Not only that, first year our salary was so much. Today our salary is so much, and then not only salary, we are having option, or we are having offers in Dubai also, Middle East also, US also, Southeast also, Europe also. So diversified kind of thing. That's no excellence. So excellence is a state of long-term sustain. That sustainability is more important. It is not fly-by-night operators, as you call it. Like Harshad Mehta, Harshad Mehta came. He was called in India as the person who could control the money market. Okay, he was, but he came and he went away. But as against that, you will find that in the world there is somebody, Warren Buffett I'm talking about, who has sustained, okay, so many years. Warren Buffett, I mean, is iconic figure, excellence kind of thing. So excellence is what? A state of long-term, sustained competitive success, which an organization aspires to achieve by creating and balancing value for all its stakeholders. Now, I'm talking from this is from the corporate point of view. Those typical stakeholders are shareholders, customers, employees, suppliers, and the society at large. This is because it is from the corporate point of view. Now, I just said, the moment we are looking at it from the academic perception, who are the stakeholders? We talked about it. Remember, who are the stakeholders? We started right from the government of India. Remember, in team we talked about. We said government of India. Then we have got the state, as we call it, the state government concerned. Then we have the UGC. Then we have got AICTE. Then we have got the university under which we are working. Then we have got board of studies. Then coming to the organizational or institute level, we have got management there, local management council or local governing council, as we call it now. Then teaching, non-teaching. Then you got support services, accounts, library, IT, and whatnot. And we also mentioned about corporate employers, students, and parents also. Today, invariably there are always students, parents, that is part of it. So that's how it works. So ultimately, basically it's about what? Basically about sustained competitive advantage or sustained competitive success. Competitive is, please remember, what was there yesterday is not there today. Today it has to be better. So Maruti might be giving 14 kilometers way back in 83. Today, I expect that my vehicle should give 18 kilometers or 20 kilometers per liter of petrol with AC on. That is, excellence kind of thing. So you are always being able to do better, as we call it. And then, just for the just look at it. We may not be able to discuss it, but when you talk of excellence, there are certain values which we look for excellence. There, can I have the next slide quickly, please? Hello. Basically, excellence will require visionary leadership. Then we require learning at the level of individual and organization. Then we must be quick to respond in agile, as we call it. Then you must respect and value what we call the employees and the partners and stakeholders that I just mentioned. Then you must constantly innovate. And like in education today, we talk of case studies, we talk of field visits. Like you got an environmental school where the environmental school students actually get assigned to certain projects, either the state governments or UNICEF, and they actually work in the field and work on wildlife, work on geoinformatics. That's part of it. So innovation. Then of course you have customer. Customer is end user. We not talk customer actually, but in case of academic, it is student-driven excellence. Then and then what is important is it's not like Henry Ford. I will sell what I make night. जो आपने चाहा हमने बनाया. That's important. So customer, end user driven excellence. Focus on the future. That's the important part of it. Vision is about that. Okay. Management by fact. I think so. I feel so. Thank you so much. What is, can we call spade a spade as we call it? Then focus on results and creating value. And of course, social responsibility and the systems. System is, again, as interdependent, interdisciplinary, multi, system perception that we talk about. So with this, I would conclude my discussions. But before that, I would like that all of us keep on moving up from what is known as, from NIRF is there, then NAC is there, NBA, and let us hope that one day there will be majority of universities among the top QS ranking, top 100 ranking, which will be from India. That's the kind of motivation that we can have. So friends, thank you so much for being with me in this afternoon. Conclude, I wish you all the best for emerging as the best motivated team and delivering best of performance with your motivation. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you,
support.
sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye. Thank you.
So we had an excellent session by you on team building and motivation, especially from the chat box. If you see, many of them have like the example that you have given of teamwork through typewriter key.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
it was a very good example about the motivation as well as the team building, what you had shared with us, apart from what was mentioned on the slide. So those were also excellent. I will just, if any participant has a question, I will unmute the participant. We can take 1 or 2 questions.
Absolutely, no problem. I have no issues. They're most welcome.
Okay. So if the attendees have any question, we can take 1 or 2 questions, and then we can proceed with the next session.
And I hope they were all awake.
Yes, sir. I request if any questions are there from the attendees, please ask. Yes, 104. You can unmute yourself.
I had a very good session. Thank you to the speaker for enlightening me. I learned some management skill. Can I discuss in Hindi? Because I
yes,
will.
कोई problem नहीं मैडम, no कोई
Okay,
problem.
thank you.
हमारी भी आप जैसी नहीं होगी पर कितना?
ओके मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि जो भी आपने बताया है उसमें से कमोबेश हमने काफी थ्योरेटिकल वे में पढ़ भी रखा है, बट द प्रॉब्लम अराइजेस व्हेन इन अ टीम 1 or 2 मेंबर्स बार बार उसको कभी इलनेस की बीमारी करते हैं या दे आर सीनियर मेंबर्स इलनेस के और जेन्युइनली इलनेस नहीं है, वी ऑब्जर्व, और but they are so well learned. They discuss about the medicine and disease, it is very difficult to उनको satisfy करना और motivate करना. How should I deal with them?
मैडम ऐसा होता है कि जैसे अपना होता है ना अभी सर, ये अगर बॉडी में गैंग्रीन होता है ना, तो यू डोंट टॉलरेट गैंग्रीन, यू हैव टू चॉप इट ऑफ. तो ऐसे लोगों को क्या करने का, रिस्पेक्ट है, उनको थोड़ा सा ऑनररी या कंसल्टेटिव पोजीशन दे करके साइड पे रखो. जो लोग एक्चुअली काम करने को इंटरेस्ट है ना, उन्हीं को ज्यादा एक्टिव रोल देने का. यू हैव दिस पीपल एज यू नो व्हाट यू कॉल द न्यू वर्ड.
Yes, I know that there are so many varieties and each and every person cannot do the same thing. But the problem arises when the other person says कि हमारा workload बहुत बढ़ रहा है, और you are excusing him again and again, और you are giving him a better position. भले ही वो अच्छी है, लेकिन कह रहे हैं उनके कारण, उनके काम ना करने के कारण हमारा वर्कलोड बहुत बढ़ रहा है. How should I reply to them?
उसमें बड़ा ऐसे कि बेसिकली क्या है ना इसमें कि इट्स नॉट कंप्लायंस, एंड यू नो हाथ के अपने पांचों फिंगर जो है ना वो एक साथ होते नहीं है. तो आपको वो जो बंदा है जो आपसे ये कह रहा है, उसको बोला कि भाई आप अगर इतना अच्छा काम करोगे तो हमसे, आपसे ज्यादा काम के हमको तो उम्मीद तो रहेगी ना, बिल्कुल. तो यू हैव टू मोटिवेट द अदर वे.
ठीक है. ये ऑल्टरनेट, ये मेथड तो मैं कई बार अपना चुकी हूँ. मैंने सोचा शायद कुछ और भी नया हो, क्योंकि मैं नए इसमें जा रही हूँ एनवायरनमेंट में. तो मैं इस मुद्दे पे बहुत चाहूंगी डिस्कशन, कि ये इस समय की बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है कि सर्टेन मेंबर्स आर एट कुशन प्लेस एंड सर्टेन मेंबर्स आर वर्किंग वेरी हार्ड. And I cannot do anything, any extra, I can't give extra privilege to those person also.
नहीं मैडम, क्या होता है ये, इन लोगों को ना हम लोग उनको कहते हैं ट्रैवलर्स. वो आप गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं, आप ड्राइव कर रहे हैं, वो खाली लिफ्ट में बैठेंगे, उनको कुछ करने का नहीं होता है.
ना करे तो सही है, लेकिन जैसे फर्स्ट सेशन में बताया था कि उनकी न्यूसेंस वैल्यू बहुत ज्यादा हो जाती है.
See, there are two things. One is, you have to marginalize the nuisance value. और क्या होता है ना, कभी कभी there is a word we use in management known as tactfully. Tactfully मतलब क्या, मारो मगर मुझे मत मरवाओ. आप समझ रहे हैं ना?
Yes.
So this is something where you can think of situational leadership.
Okay, I am very happy to learn that this my problem, जो मेरी प्रॉब्लम है उससे और लोग भी सफर कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे थोड़ा ठीक ही लगा. और कम से कम मुझे ये लगा कि मैं बहुत अच्छे से कन्विंस नहीं कर पा रही हूँ कुछ लोगों को. Thank you for answering me.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, very much for the excellent session and for satisfying the queries with your discussions. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye, and I wish all of you a very happy New Year, because we are meeting for the first time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year.
Peaceful New Year, new normal 2021. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. Good day.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir. Thank you very much.
Take care and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will take a break of 5 minutes and then immediately we will join for next session. Don't leave the lobby. We will be joining within 5 minutes. Thank you.